Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Arundhati Ramnan, and with me as always, Shruti Mishra. These are the top headlines from the startup world. EdTech startup Simply Learn acquires US-based bootcamp education company Full Stack Academy in an all-cash deal as it looks to strengthen its business in North America. The acquisition will drive revenue growth for Simply Learn to $200 million by FY24, of which 70% is likely to come from global markets.
Tomorrow, an Aditya Birla Group venture and a wholly owned unit of Aditya Birla Fashion Retail announces investments with 8 digital first lifestyle brands for foraying into casual wear, kids wear and western wear market. Tomorrow is eyeing an annual revenue run rate of 1,500 crore rupees in the next 12 months.
Dhruva Space is looking to raise $20 to $25 million in the next 1 to 2 years to create infrastructure facilities in India to be able to launch satellites weighing up to 100 kgs. Abhay Egur, the co-founder and CTO, told PTI the firm is currently working on a satellite weighing about 30 kgs, which will be broadly catering to communications and scientific applications on their P30 platform.
Space tech startup Agnikul Cosmos inaugurates India's first ever privately designed and operated launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota. The launch pad will support liquid stage control launches and address the need for ISRO's range operations team to monitor key flight safety parameters during launches.
Amazon India to shut down Amazon distribution, the company's spokesperson told CNBC-TV18. The tech and e-commerce company recently decided to shut down its food and delivery and its edtech vertical too. The decisions have been taken by the company as a part of the annual operating planning review process and the cost-cutting measures.
Zoomcar onboards Naveen Gupta as their Vice President and Country Head for India. In his new role, Gupta will be responsible for all aspects of growth, operations and customer experience for the company in India. He has previously worked with Hero MotoCorp, Redbus, Swiggy and Cars24.
Elon Musk says new user sign-ups to Twitter are at an all-time high as he struggles with the mass exodus of advertisers and users. Sign-ups were averaging over 2 million per day in the last 7 days as of November 16th, up 66% compared to the same week in 2021, Musk said in a tweet.
Well, those are the headlines we are tracking for you this evening. Aditya Birla Group's House of Brands Vertical Tomorrow, which was launched in June this year, is setting its sights on an annual revenue rate of over 1,500 crore rupees in a year from now. This after it announced its first set of investments today in 8 D2C companies, including popular fashion brands like Bewakoof and Berry Lush. My colleague Shilpa Ranipeta spoke to Prashant Aluru, CEO of Tomorrow, in his first interview since the launch of the platform on how they will scale these brands and the new brands they are eyeing and more. Listen in.
If you look at the brands today, we are sort of playing in the large established categories where there's a large TAM and moderate to high growth. For example, Bewakoof, which is a large D2C brand in the casual expressive wear market, is one of the leading D2C brands in the space. Has strong Instagram following. The founders built it over the last several years, and we're looking to build it further to 1,000 crore, 1,500 crore brand over the next several years. So that's one of the examples. If you look at Anusha and Alok at Berry Lush, they're building a new age women's western wear fast fashion brand. Another brand called Nobero is actually playing in the active athleisure space, which of course is an emerging category, especially post-COVID. But we think this is a category where category creators will get built. Brands will continue to be led by the founders and their teams. So what we bring in is horizontal investments, horizontal capabilities, synergies at a house of brands level.
Now, beyond this, how many brands are you looking at in total in this year, at least, if you can tell me? And how much investment or how much capital have you put aside for that? And from that total amount also, if you can tell me how much of that has gone into these 8 brands that you've already brought on board?
Yeah, our plan in year one of setting up Tomorrow is to establish a portfolio of around 10 to 12 brands. And we're looking to invest anywhere between 500 to 600 crores in our first year. And with today's announcements, we have a portfolio of 8 brands which are tracking to a run rate of 700 crores. And in the next 12 months, we're quite confident that we'll grow these to a 1,500 crore plus business, both through existing brand organic growth and also expanding the portfolio further.
So now within the 8 brands, you've covered casual, athleisure, denim. What are the other categories that you're looking at for other brands that you talk to that you'll eventually bring on board?
That's a great question. I think in general, our focus will be very deep on fashion lifestyle. And if I have to frame the opportunity, there are existing large TAM opportunities which are moderate to high growth in e-commerce. There are some emerging categories which are hyper growth. and we'll play across both. And going forward, we'll not only deepen our presence in fashion apparel, but also add non-apparel categories like footwear, accessories, jewelry, and also bring in beauty personal care starting our second year. What we will not do is essentially take a horizontal approach to aggregating many brands across many categories. We see ourselves as deep operators focused on fashion lifestyle and building brands as opposed to aggregating brands as our.
Now, from the time you started the Tomorrow platform, what's the kind of interest that you've seen from brands? Because it was an application-based process. And if you can run me through, what are the top 3 or 5 things that you were looking at before you picked a brand to come on board?
Broadly, 3 characteristics stand out. One, founders which are chasing large opportunities, whether it is existing categories which are large TAM today or emerging categories that are likely to be big. Second is founders who've got a unique consumer insight and maybe have established that early product market fit and see us as right partners to scale to the next level. Third is we only want to partner with founders who are willing to stay the course and build something big with us over the next 5-7 years.
And Prashant, capital in terms of that, are you looking at capital only within the group through ABFRL, or are you also looking to bring on board external investors as well?
That's right. So we will partner with the right long-term mindset investors who will look at this as a $1 billion plus house of brands entity over time. And hence we look to partner with not just the group backing, but also new investors who will invest into existing brands and also help us further expand the portfolio.
Jammu and Kashmir is now keen to start up with nearly 500 new age companies and 10 incubators. The Valley was a top performer in the Startup India 2021 rankings amongst all the union territories. To put the spotlight on the innovation coming out of the region, the Department of Science and Technology with National Innovation Foundation organized Kashmir's first Startup Expo. My colleague Akhil Vishwanath brings you the story from Srinagar. Take a look.
In Kashmir, as winter sets in, tulips are being incubated, much like innovators who are ready to bloom in Jammu and Kashmir, which is fast emerging as a startup hub. To bring the innovators to the fore, the Department of Science and Technology in association with the National Innovation Foundation organized Kashmir's first ever Startup Expo. With the theme of From Kashmir, for Kashmir, the expo in Srinagar showcased around 50 innovators with their products, technology and services. Amongst them were 5 innovators who were incubated by the National Innovation Foundation, which is an initiative that scouts and supports grassroots technologies. From giving a gyroscopic spin to the traditional portable heater named Kangdi and keeping hands safe at walnut farms with an automated cracker, to developing pole climbing equipment to help technicians scale electricity poles during winter, these innovators are solving the problems of everyday life.
मेरे इनोवेशन का मल्टी टूल है, कारपेंट्री टूल, वॉलनट क्रैकिंग मशीन भी है और वुडन बुखारी भी है और ऑर्गेनिक स्पीड भी है। इस साल मैंने और एक इनोवेशन लॉन्च की, मल्टीपर्पज़ लैडर, जो हार्वेस्टिंग एप्पल को काम आता है। ऐसी मेरी 5-6 इनोवेशन है। मैसेज आम लोगों को, आम मतलब नौजवानों को, अगर वो आउट ऑफ बॉक्स सोचेंगे, ऐसा नाम भी कमाएंगे, पैसा भी इसमें बहुत सारा मिलता है।
At the other end of the spectrum is scientific discovery. This small vial of vaccine could play a crucial role in keeping alive one of Kashmir's most prized exports, the Pashmina shawl.
We know a large number of farmers are dependent on goats, especially in our area, Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. They are mostly dependent on milk here and Pashmina, the famous thing in Kashmir. But unfortunately, there are certain diseases that affect the goats time to time. One among the such diseases is mycoplasmosis. That's a highly fatal disease affecting respiratory tract of goats. 100% mortality is seen in this disease. That means if 100 goats get infected, there are chances that 100 deaths may be there if we left the goats untreated. Novel vaccine preparations have been tried, but due to the fastidious nature of the organism, it's very difficult to make vaccine for, against such disease. So we have developed a wholesale vaccine against the disease. Now we are looking for the commercialization of the vaccine. If this vaccine gets commercialized, the estimated cost of the vaccine is 13 to 15 rupees. That means and this vaccine has proven its potential to reduce the severity of such disease and can prevent from the huge economic costs that are associated with the disease.
When it comes to startups that are for Kashmir, Sickle Innovations, which was incubated at the Indian Institute of Science and IIM Ahmedabad, is a good example.
We developed a mango harvesting device, a very efficient tool with which the mangoes can be harvested, so without the sap oozing out, which increases the shelf life of the mangoes. So once we developed this and we launched it in Hyderabad, somebody from the Kashmir government visited us and they said, why don't you come to Kashmir and you solve this problem of apple harvesting. Because of the success of that product, Kashmir government gave us another problem statement, which was drying of saffron. So what farmers do is they dry it in open air. The losses which they occur is in terms of the color and the essence. So a lot of essential oils are there which evaporate, and also the color, which is the main factor which decides the price of the saffron, that also reduces when it is dried in an open air. So we designed this saffron dryer, which is a smart dryer. So what we do is we put saffron, and the whole saffron is suspended on the load sensors, and we have a hot air coming from the back. So the hot air keeps drying it, and as it is drying, the weight of the saffron reduces and it shuts down automatically. So this very small dryer started solving problems of all the saffron growers. So they could get extra value out of this crop by using this product.
With close to 450 registered startups and more than 10 startup accelerators, Jammu and Kashmir emerged as a top performer among all union territories in the Startup India 2021 rankings. The rise is primarily attributed to the proliferation of agri-tech startups to support farmers in the region. The Purple Revolution, in particular, has transformed the landscape with increased lavender cultivation under the Aroma mission, which has quadrupled farmer income. However, with more than 58% of the population in the working age group and 2 out of 10 youth in the Union Territory unemployed, there is a need to explore other avenues, which the Startup Expo sought to do.
पर्पल रेवोल्यूशन जिसे कहा जाता है, हिंदुस्तान भर में जिसका जिक्र हो रहा है, उसकी पैदाइश भी जम्मू कश्मीर से हुई। गुलमर्ग में पहले लेवेंडर की कल्टीवेशन का काम शुरू किया गया था, सबसे पहले हिंदुस्तान में, और उसके बाद फिर भद्रवाह में। बल्कि कुछ एक बच्चे अपनी कॉर्पोरेट नौकरियां छोड़ करके उससे जुड़े। तो इसकी मुराद ये है कि कहीं ना कहीं जानकारी की कमी है और कहीं ना कहीं ज़हनियत बदलने की ज़रूरत है।
Funding, mentoring and incubation, these are the 3 key enabling factors that could propel the startup ecosystem in Jammu and Kashmir into the next stage. At present, the region has less than 500 startups. Participants told me that more incubators and startup accelerators in the region could not only help them stay here and survive, but also help the youth turn into entrepreneurs and provide livelihoods. So, more innovation and more jobs, that's what the youth wants. With camera person Saroj Singh, this is Aki Vishwanath for CNBC-TV18.
All right. With that, it's time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, big fat Indian weddings are transforming themselves, aspiring to become affordable and sustainable. And this is driving the clothing rental space. A special coverage on the clothing rental space on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Online grocery delivery platform Blinkit is opening multiple avenues for employment for the specially abled community who are unable to hear and speak. My colleague Aishwarya Anand visited Blinkit's first of its kind silent store in Delhi's Lakshmi Nagar area and caught up with co-founder and CEO Albinder Dinsa to know more about the initiative and the quick commerce business. Take a look.
Right now we have about 30 odd folks, depending on sort of some of the roles that they play. We are only able to employ them in stores, and right now we are putting a few more of them through training to be also able to put them in stores where they can work with non-hearing impaired folks as well. So this store is almost the entire operation is run by the HI community.
But how do they know that the order has come? How do they know that, how do they communicate? Like, what is the process to it? What is the difference in the tech stack that you've got?
Sure. We realize that our operations are actually fairly compatible, that you don't need auditory cues in order to be able to operate the store. Instead of the phones ringing, we would vibrate the phones, right? Some of them were that how do you communicate at a broader level? So we built notifications into our in-store systems. So the phones and the devices that they carry, now they give them notifications for them to read. Earlier, that would be an announcement over a PA system. A lot of these things we had to put in place. And then also just even outside the store, how to really engage with the community, because a lot of them cannot actually sort of drive. They're not allowed to drive. They can't have driving licenses. How do you make sure that they can reach the store safely?
How many deliveries is taking place in this one particular store?
This store is doing about, I think, more than 1,500 orders every day, and the overall radius that this store serves is somewhere around 1.6 kilometers.
Are you planning to add more such stores in different cities?
We have another one which is in Ganesh Vihar, which is very, very close by. And we have one more store which is coming up about 2 kilometers north of here. Our typical playbook has been that once a particular community scales up, then we will try to open another store to be able to maintain our SLAs. So anytime we have more number of orders, right, it gives us an opportunity to actually open another location, which can then make deliveries even faster. So if we're delivering in 15 minutes, we can take it to 10 minutes because now we'll have 2 stores in the same location. And then there is a minimum number of throughput at the store, which will make sure that we have the economics of the store work out, and then we are able to get it to profitability.
You're operating 400 stores. So what's the kind of order volume that you've fulfilled in the second quarter of FY23? And also take us through what is the average order volume growth that you've clocked till now, and how has the growth been since the last quarter?
In the second quarter, we had reported about 26 million orders, which is up from about 22 million orders that we did in the previous quarter. So it's about 25-26% growth quarter on quarter in the order volume, and of course also similar growth in our overall GOV that got transacted on the platform. Right. I think from our first reported numbers of when we started reporting with Zomato in the month of May, I think the business is up almost 2x, and we're still scaling up and we're still growing.
Blinkit Marketplace has reported a loss of nearly 1,000 crore rupees for FY 2022 versus the rupees 382 crore that you had clocked in FY 21.
Yeah.
Right? What are the contributing factors here? And give us a sense of your unit economics, if you could, and tell us, if you could talk to us about, what is the cash burning ratio here?
Biggest reason for the losses increasing from FY21 to FY22 was the investment in opening our dark store network. Okay. Right, and as you open the dark store network, there is also significant amount of underutilization because you open 400 stores over a 4 to 6 month period. We scaled up the business almost 2x while reducing the burn to half. So in our latest financials, we reported a contribution of about -7%, right, which is down from -17% we reported 3 months ago.
On that note, please tell me what are your targets that you've set for Blinkit for FY23 in terms of your revenues, in terms of expansion of stores and even categories?
Even more aggressive goals to go after profitability, to also start expanding our store network, to look at some of the smaller cities and whether those are the markets in which we will start penetrating and try out this business model in a more aggressive manner.
Why is nobody talking about a 10-minute delivery anymore? What is the future of quick commerce looking like?
We are absolutely talking about 10-minute delivery very openly. Okay. And because we also have to make the effort to make the community understand that 10-minute delivery does not happen by somebody driving fast. It happens because we have a store which is extremely close to where you live or work. And we believe that we are the platform that is building the technology that is hopefully going to make 5-minute delivery happen, right? And that is only going to happen because we are going to enable the kiranas, the shops that exist right next to you, to also be able to leverage our tech stack and to be able to deliver to you with very high precision, very high quality. I think that is going to be the future of quick commerce.
You're talking about the 10-minute delivery. There are also reports that suggested that Blinkit is now charging the surge in price, if it's the surge in pricing when there is a demand during the peak hours. So tell me what's happening there, and I mean, is it a part of an effort to reduce the cash burn and to get more profitable as a business?
Two things which we are absolutely clear about, that we are not going to ask our riders to be more productive or drive faster if there is more demand. But what ends up happening is if peak hours, there are not enough riders in attendance who can actually deliver the order to the customers, then we have to ask a surge so that customers also know that they'll have to pay extra, and that money actually ends up going to the riders. So we can incentivize more riders to log in and be available to serve more customers. So it's kind of a loop that we have to run. I don't think that is something that is profitable for us. Even when it happens, I think it's worse for us because we end up losing orders. So charging them over and above that is not something that we are looking to do.
Well, that was co-founder Albinder Dhinta, who is now looking at making 5-minute delivery possible. He also has aggressive plans for Blinkit to achieve profitability. Moving on, after 2 years of subdued growth, the wedding services industry is on its way to regaining its past glory. And among all the allied services, the clothing rental space is seeing some brisk business. CNBC-TV18 Sushmita Chandramouli finds out that affordability is not the only factor stitching this growth story together. Take a look.
29-year-old IT executive Bhavika had a dream wedding reception, but it did not involve her appearing in a lehenga that cost lakhs of rupees. Instead, she decided it would be more responsible and easier on the pocket to rent her outfit.
I had a dream wedding, but it doesn't mean that it should cost you fortune and probably on the things which you will never wear again or never use again. And I think it cost me 7,000 for 3 days, and it was within the budget.
Renting clothes for special occasions is no longer restricted to the odd Halloween party or graduation ceremony. The clothing rental business traditionally operated in a B2B marketplace for movies, ad shoots, concerts, and so on. But this is now changing. India is home to over 40 startups that are offering designer outfits like this one on rent for special occasions. The big draw here is that these outfits cost just 10 to 15% of their tag price, starting at as low as 1,000 rupees an outfit. Mindsets when it comes to renting clothes are changing.
Perception of a rental was kind of like a dress wala, like it won't be maintained well, it'll be bad. But over time, that was our initial challenge. I think over time, things have changed. People have become a lot more financially prudent and smarter about renting. They're finding the economical value in it. Younger people funding their own weddings. They're just finding it practical to oh, I can rent an outfit for 10,000 and then save the rest of my money and go on a vacation.
As the wedding season picks up steam, so is business for apparel rental companies. Flyrope, for instance, says it is receiving over 400 orders a day. But financial prudence is just one of the reasons this trend is picking up.
5 reasons. They save money. There is storage problem. How much can you store? You get to access latest trends as always. Thirdly, thanks to social media, we do not repeat outfits. And lastly, I would say people also think about sustainable factors.
Clothing rental firms are increasingly seeing a clientele of environmentally conscious youngsters, a clientele that is very accepting of a one outfit, multiple users model.
Once something has been constructed using so much energy and effort and resources, do you create a business model which allows multiple consumers to enjoy the product? So that is basically taking something which inherently may not be sustainable, but because you are recycling it over, the consumption is by a larger number of consumers, so you are creating sustainable fashion in that process.
With business picking up, clothing rental firms are adding an online presence to their operations, especially to cater to a market beyond the metros.
Before COVID, our demand was more in the larger cities. So, and And it continues to be that way. Delhi and Bombay are by far the largest demand centers. Also Bangalore, because we are based out of Bangalore. This year especially, we are noticing that a larger number of orders are coming from smaller cities.
A report by Future Market Insights pegs the global market for online clothing rentals at over $2 billion this year. And this is projected to double over the coming decade, with India and China leading the growth in the Asia-Pacific region. After all, rent, enjoy, return is as much in vogue as the next creation in high-end fashion. In Mumbai, Sushmita Chandramouli.
And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.